I feel we were made in paired sets. So picture that you and your significant other, I believe that it's based on a male and female system structure. I could be wrong. This is just what I'm led to believe. But picture that male and females, like all of us, are designed this way. We're born in paired sets where it's sort of like we create the other half, they create us. Like I'm the male, I would work on creating the female would work on creating me. And say like in the origin of all, the way that it is, that's just the way that we are designed as humans. So that's the general basic theory. Now, to some, they may not comprehend what I'm getting at because I got to throw in some other pieces here. This is just one life. And, you know, we're here as we are today. Yeah, it's true that I could go out and I could date this woman, that woman, I could marry that woman, that woman, that woman, and I could have children with a whole variety of women and live lives of love with these women. Does that mean that any given one of those women was this number one who I'm referring to, how we're made in this paired set? No, it does not mean that. The larger theory is that to get the system tuned up more to where we are lining up with our respective ultimate lover, as I would refer to it as, the individual who I'm ultimated with, or you, anybody. Again, I believe that this is the way now. If there's something I don't know, and there's different types of humans, or there's different types of people, maybe some aren't of this nature, maybe some are, I really don't know. But if it was for me, I would choose this nature because I'm like, there's nothing higher once you visualize what it is. So in that same token, you would think that anybody in the origin of all humanity, you would think that they would want to be designed that way. And this could possibly extend to other creatures as well, other animals and other creatures. Now, again, this is just all my thought and theory on how we are put together. Now, born in more than one way. Picture different variety of combination of people who you could produce. Okay, so picture, you know, in one given life, a man produces the genetic components that he does that could mate with that woman, any variety of women, right? So look at the hundreds of thousands, or I don't know, some may boast millions, right, of combinations that could occur just in one life. Now that's just one life. You're in another life, you may produce an entire other line of genetic material and blah, blah, blah that you could do. Everything is about time and placement and where you are, what chemicals you're exposed to in your environment, everything about that. So the larger capacity is to also just question and consider like, okay, I as an individual entity, being Neil, my name may be different from one life to the next, and depending on where I am, right? And if they know who I am from one life to the next around the universe. But the comment is, yeah, I could be born from any given variety of sources, just like anybody could. And in other words, I could have different mothers and fathers in different lives. Now, the question is about the ultimate lover pairing. Is there something to be said about being born to an ultimate lover pair compared to being born to just like a non-ultimate lover pair? Again, regardless, we hope that love can be some basis of foundation for the bringing of a child into life, because that's really, if we want to talk about what the problem is in any system where there's children, it's sort of that question, where is the love? It really needs to be made much more definitive and loud and clear and kind and nurturing of what really love is in that sense of parenthood. Okay. Picture you and any friend that you may have, any friend whatsoever, and then picture the genetics of the person directly between you. So if you take me and you, whoever you are tuning in, and picture the person who's directly genetically between you and me, okay? And so then you think, oh, okay, that's interesting. Like half your genetics, half my genetics, and that's who that person is. There's people. If you look at all the possibilities of genetics in the human genome, well, there would be that individual that would be right between. Now, picture all the other people that are in between on either side of the spectrum, the ones that, as you get closer to me, be having more genetics of me, we're close to have more genetics of you. And then it's not just about you and me, right? It's about all of our brothers and sisters in the human race, if you will. So picture them and how they would tie in, and at some point it would be like a three-way where it'd be like you, me, and this other guy, and then there's a guy triangulated in between us, and he's like the exact match. Or you could pick 4 people and picture the exact genetic match between those 4 people, and you could go on and on and on. We could pick 50 people and say, what's the equal genetic match, and of all 50 of us, and who is that individual? And so you begin to see how we're all genetically related in some way as a human being. Now, do I question about copies of the exact same person? Not talking about twins. Picture me or you or any of us. Picture an exact copy of us. Somehow, the way life exists, it may allow for more than one version of me. Me, not like a brother or some close-looking individual. I'm talking exactly me. That would be, for all intents and purposes, when we talk about the soul, like if there is like this soul way to look at it, when the soul, leaves the body when I die, you picture this soul type thing. But you picture that, is it possible that 2 different humans could be running off the same soul? If there's copies made of me, and we're coexisting in the universe. There's only one universe at large. Now, will we ever see each other? That's a product of time and space, and a question. And in the age that we're in, I don't think there's any reason why we can't question that. But however, I just would say I don't have any knowledge to have ever claimed to have met a copy of me, shook the hand of like, oh, that's the exact copy. Now, let me get to this next point. The sphere diagram, this could even explain why or how some levels of tolerable nature would exist. A variance of form. Not always, I want to make this comment, I don't think you're always destined to be deformed. If you were born deformed in a given life, that's just that one life. This sort of ties in with my sphere diagram that I use. Sometimes it may not be of a deformity even, it's just picture a sphere, and at the center point that represents you when you're completely balanced, pure, whatever. Now picture you could still come into existence when you're slightly offset of that sphere. Now you can also stack spheres on tops of spheres, and we could come to say that there could be multiple balanced form versions of you that are running out. That gets a little more complicated to delineate and discuss. So I just first want to put out the commentary about the basic sphere diagram and how we may sometimes come into existence when we're slightly off-centered, offset, and it doesn't mean we can't live a nice, fruitful life in some cases, or we may go through hardships, but we try to push on to the day. Okay, the repeat program, almost like we are connected in some sort of collective soul fashion. Or picture a machine. Well, that's what it seems or gives the effect. As I'm coming through this life again, as I've talked about previously, I can tell that this life is a repeat. I'm coming through again, and I'll come to turnstiles where it's like verbatim, like I remember exactly. It's like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Even all the variations, like when I snap my finger, like, did I do that before? It seems like it doesn't matter. There's always like some magnet that brings you back to this defined line. Like even if I would run over there outside the track a little bit, the magnet sort of brings you back. At least that's a working theory as to how it works, because or maybe all those things that I'm calling outside the lines, there's really no such thing. It's all programmed. If this repeat is based on calculus and careful integration and all of that, it's just like a program. You're going backwards and forwards, and you can just back it up, beep, 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 beep. They back it up, and then you just plow through again, and you're on the same road. It's so refined that they knew you say, did I go left or did I go right here last time? Well, there's a possibility that you went both ways at any given time. So it's almost like, don't stress yourself over those questions, rather do the right thing. Try to always do the right thing in all situations is what we all should strive to do. So I suspect not only does this life repeating is the way it is, but I suspect that future lives, like where I would live, they would be maybe similar. Or the question is, are there any lives to live where we haven't been through before? Because it seems like we're so refined and machined in a way, maybe for our own protection on some levels, or maybe it was an overprotective hand. We don't know. At any rate, this passage through is what it is, or what I'm claiming it is, the potential to be. I guess it all depends on what follows through here. So I remember good times and bad times of all the lifetimes I lived, whether they were very close to this, maybe slightly varied, or more significantly varied, different trails entirely even. The plethora of times was immense. I would just say that there were good times and there were bad times. And I would hope that no one wants to do any wrongful attacks to anybody. If you feel someone owes you, let's figure out a way to more, diplomatically and peacefully approach the scenario rather than some of the other methods which may have been employed through the years. Okay, something that I observed taking notice, I call the parent matrix trap. You've all seen the movie The Parent Trap, where there's two girls switching off, but picture it happening with all kinds of people. I claim that it happened with people that I know personally in my life, that I've met, where they have more than one person playing their character, if you will. The same token, I would point to celebrities on the screen and say, well, there's more than one individual playing their character. So people I met in person in this life and people that I only know through the media in this life, I would say that this is happening too. I'm not saying it's happening to everybody. I'm just saying what I just said. I don't know the ramifications and the full scope of it. Karma. I believe the science behind karma, of what you would say, cause and effect, what you do to someone else will come back to you one way or another, good or bad, depending on what it is that you're doing, obviously. I believe in that full-heartedly. I believe there's a science to that. Do I have the proof to prove that? No, but that's something that I've come to believe in the sense that it sounds logical scientifically, in all the inner workings of life, through all space and time. And so why not, even if it's wrong, why not err on the side of caution and go with it and believe in that? Why not err on the side of caution when it comes to something? I have looked at my life and I've tried to play out my name is Earl as much as possible. I feel like if anybody can do that, it can be a good thing in the right context. You gotta be careful sometimes. Sometimes you go to apologize to someone, they take it the wrong way. So, just be very careful. My name is Earl. It's important. If anybody feels that I still owe them, there's a few people that I have on my list still. When the time is right, or if I come around to see you again, hopefully I can make amends. If anybody in general feels that I owe you something, please reach out to me. That's one of my major goals in life, I don't want to have any debts to anybody if anybody claims that I owe them, I don't want to have any debt in that fashion. So I thank you for your time. There's more I could say. That's just a brief review of what I came to at this point in life. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Hope in great peace.